And you're 100% vegan, huh?
No, I'm not. I'm not vegan at all. But it's 100% vegan water.
Oh my God.
This is the purity of what we are. You know, it's just purity. It's just it's just the purity of
I
what we
love
are.
it. I'm actually a vegan.
Are you?
I am. Hold on, let me move this.
Oh, no, it's nice to have you.
Yo, I'm glad. It's glad. I'm Brandon.
All right, we just
I'm O'Shane. It's nice to meet you officially.
Likewise, man. Likewise. And I'll definitely have to get y'all back. Yeah, I don't know. People call and then I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Mine do the same thing too.
Yeah, I definitely have to get you both on my show on Fubu Radio, so we can figure that out and kind of chop it up from there. But I'm excited to be on, man.
Nah, we're excited to have you because honestly, the fact that when you first followed us on, that just got us so hyped and so excited. So,
man. When I was looking through y'all stuff, I kind of thumbed through and I'm like, yo, these guys are talking about some good stuff. Especially the one that really attracted me was you all had, I think you uploaded the aerial view of Albany Avenue and what it would look like. And how, it's interesting that they developed this masterful plan without the voices of the people in the community. And if you followed me anytime, especially when I ran for mayor, that was one of the things that I was adamant about. Like, you've got to include the people from the neighborhood and not just folks from downtown or folks moving in saying that they love Hartford. But anyway.
No, I think that's actually a good point because I have like a lot to say on that topic because when I was attending Capitol, I met one of the ladies who was in charge of running the iQuote program for renovating downtown, making it walkable. Yeah, so Jackie, I met her.
That obviously just told you something about that.
Question. I asked her, I was like, so you guys have all of these plans for the metropolitan areas of downtown Hartford, but what do you guys plan on doing for the outskirts of downtown Hartford? So those areas, and she basically just said to me, "We'll get there when we get there." In a sense, like, so it wasn't part of their vision in no way, shape, or form. So it made me think, like, so what are you doing for Hartford? Because you have plans for building a whole hotel to have the people outside of Hartford come here. And then you had the stadium where you were supposed to have a whole check balance system to make sure at least 40% of the workers were residents of Hartford, but you never developed anything for that as well too. So it's just a lot of shady stuff that goes on in the community that just makes the people don't feel like it's actually for them to begin.
Yeah, the city of Hartford, they conduct every 10 years, similar to the census, a conservation plan. And that conservation plan is a fancy word for, in 10 years, this is what Hartford will look like, and here's how we plan to do it. While they talk about the neighboring sort of communities that surround downtown in the iQuilt sort of area around Bushnell Park, it's real surface. We want to make sure our communities are vibrant. We want to make sure everything is like walkable.
Like how they really what they're doing to the Ave right now.
Yeah, and it really doesn't speak to the years of many of our communities being under-resourced. It's been overlooked, and don't get me wrong, I'm not coming on to cry about what's not been done because there's some responsibilities that we as people of color in these positions that we hold as elected officials, we've got to do a little bit more as well. But there's also something to be said about a system that we don't manage, right? When you begin talking about systems, white folk manage systems.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but we gotta save all this we gotta save all this.
Oh, do you? It's recorded.
We get into it? I'm sorry. I never did a Zoom call before, brother. I ain't never did a Zoom call.
Utilize as much time as possible, and the conversation actually started off pretty good, honestly. So, because we want to bring more content in these conversations to our podcast, because it's called Weed and Whiskey, but as people listen to us, they realize. And I do
like Bullet. I do like Bullet. I do like Basil Hayden. So you talk about whiskey, but I'm a bourbon guy.
All right.
Have you tried the Nearest?
I have, and they're black owned.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Very good. They're actually very, very good. So
they're
we can
very
change them
good.
with
Just
the idea.
I like the big cube too. You know, put the big cube in there.
Yes. So are you a neat or ice guy?
Like the
I'm
big
an ice
cube.
guy. I like the
Ice
big
guy?
cube.
You got the
Yeah.
big cube, man.
Okay.
The ice.
Not the bunch of cubes. I don't like all that.
Nah, that's slushy. Like, no,
Give me 1 or 2 and call it a day.
Yeah, that's me.
I wanted to get into that system thing because one thing I wanted to know is why politics? You know what I mean? Why get into politics and legislation? It hasn't, historically hasn't been for us really. I suppose destroy the system from the inside, but do you think that it has to be a whole overall what is the word I'm looking for? Overhaul of the system? Like, you know what I mean? Like the system has to change all through?
Yes, I agree with you. And I wish that was the case. I think our people have been, and when I speak of our people, I'm talking about those who are within the diaspora, right? So we're not monolith. It's a bunch of us. We're West Indian. We're all kinds of people, right? But we all identify as Black, and that's what I'm speaking directly to. If I had my way, I would redo the entire system, and I would make sure that number one, we're considered humans. We weren't even considered humans, so don't forget that, right?
3/4.
So.
Yeah.
Listen, we still ain't no human.
Exactly.
And in saying that, it automatically tells a story about this system, this government that was put in place supposedly to help us, and it hasn't. Fast forward, you asked a very direct question: why politics, Brandon? Why did you get involved in this system that doesn't really work for us? It's almost similar to when you begin looking at different political parties. There's a Republican Party, there's a Democratic, Independent, and any other parties that 20 people can get together and create. All right. For me, and this is a true story, I've always wanted to be the first Black president of the United States. Barack Obama beat me. He beat me to it.
It ain't too late, man. You can be the second. He wasn't all the way anyway.
Right. Barack, we love you. We love you, Barack.
We still love you. We still love you though. We still love you though. You represent.
But I knew early on that my area of influence was really around policymaking. And it started back at Annie Fisher. I don't know if the both of you are from Hartford.
I'm from Windsor, but
okay.
I went to the high school they built behind Annie Fisher.
Look, you heard him. He like, I'm from Windsor. I don't know what you're talking about.
I still know where Annie Fisher is at, though. You know, my mom used to go to little workouts at that gym. It don't matter.
He just runs to Hartford and cause havoc.
I went to Oliver Ellsworth. That's where I went. You know, put the title.
That's all I heard. Bougie.
But it's good because I represent both Hartford and Windsor. And so I remember having a substitute teacher in fourth grade on to maybe like sixth grade. And I said to myself then, I never want children after me to experience not having consistency. And in FYI, nothing against paraprofessional substitute teachers. They're all educators. But I missed out on rigor. I missed out on consistency. And for me, I says, all right, I love politics. What is my lane that I can play that will influence change? And it was policy. And so early on, I was like, yo, I'm going to law school. I want to be able to do this. And I want to come back and make change in the city of Hartford. Things change. I didn't go to law school. I did get my master's. My wife is an attorney. So I'm like, I'm good. I ain't got to worry. All right,
yeah.
You know? So
y'all whole anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I'm good. So we're a lawyer. And I quickly Yeah.
So continue.
Go ahead.
No, because I was gonna say with you running for mayor, I kind of wanted to get your opinion on when the last election with Bronin and was it Ortiz? Yeah, Ortiz. Because that was a very controversial. Was it Ortiz? Joe? No, the Spanish guy from the South End.
Oh, Joel Cruz.
Cruz, yeah. See, a lot of people don't even realize a native from Hartford was actually running. So
yeah, man, that's my boy too, Joel. He ran about 8 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Right after around the Eddie Perez stuff that was going on. So with that going on, how do you feel about the people overlooking, as you yourself who ran, how do you feel about the people overlooking the people from their community?
I don't know if we got enough time to unpack that.
Because that's a conversation to have.
Because so check it. I ran 2 years ago. Okay, it doesn't feel like it, but I did. I ran for mayor 2 years ago. And the first thing I was told, they was like, "Oh, you're too young." I'm like, "I'm too young?" At the time I served as 8 years I've served in this position. Too young? Luke and I are the same age. Why am I too young? We both got 2 kids. We both married. You're like, what? And even if I was too young, why is that a concern if I have a track record of proven success and commitment to this community? And I still, to this day, I don't understand how Black, brown, and good old white folks would allow for what some may call a carpetbagger to come into the city and do what he's doing. Is beyond me. Now, he and I, we talk. We still work together because, it's for the people. But I don't understand why, and Hartford is not special to this type of work. There are a lot of Black folks who run for office in predominantly Black communities and don't make it because Black folks don't vote for them. Right. And so for whatever reason, and there are many, we got a lot of work to do, which is why I've committed myself to educating people where they are. Everybody doesn't look like me in politics, and I'm good with that. And so that means we have to have these conversations on multiple levels so that people will know how they fit in and then how their contributions make a difference. And so, would I do it all over again? People ask. Yeah, but I also understand
that you said you're ready to run again.
No. But I do understand the systems, and I do understand that in order to change the system, to go back to your question that you asked, why politics, you got to be at the table. And someone said it best, if you're not at the table, then you're on the menu. I'd much rather be at the table to really talk about my concerns on behalf of my community in order to make some real change. And when my time comes, it comes. It's unfortunate that it couldn't happen 2 years ago, but it is what it is.
The universe got a bigger plan, and when it do come, all the things is just going to fall in alignment. Than you could possibly hope. So, you can only just be patient and just wait for that time to come.
Yeah, but I guess my only pushback on that is like, why? Like, why does it have to? Like, I don't get it. So by that time, man, I want to make money. My kids will be a little older, and by that time, I would have been in politics 15 years, right?
Yeah.
So, it's very discouraging. It's very discouraging. Very. And y'all the first ones to actually interview me, record me, and ask me about the mayoral's race because I've never talked about it.
I mean, we
want to know. Like, we have to know these type of things. We're not.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. No, it's just.
And we not. It's better for somebody to ask the questions than to not ask them because you'll never, you never get that side. And, you got to know some shit. I need.
I mean, if you want to talk about something, honestly, I think one thing the constituents like that people that you're around. I know one thing a lot of people was like had maybe some controversial thoughts against as well too was the key that you gave to Meek Mill.
Oh yeah, let's talk about it.
Oh yeah, okay, all right, let's get into it.
A lot of people didn't like the idea you giving Meek Mill the key.
Yeah, so for me, it was fake. Fake in that they didn't have. There was no real key. Like the state can't give a key, right? Yeah. But the real part in it was if Meek Mill, say what you want about his profile and his resume, if he is helping to open up the sort of door to opportunities for states like Connecticut to be a part of reform in the judicial system, then I'll use his star power to do that. And so
I
acknowledging his work by throwing a key on, first of all, what is it? World Star? What is that?
World Star, yeah.
Yeah, like they didn't even characterize and capture like the true essence of what was happening. They automatically just was like, yeah, Rep McGee gave him the key. I was like, and then ever since we gave him the key, Philadelphia came in, New York, all these places started giving him the keys. But a lot of people were pissed. They were pissed.
Yeah.
They were like, yo.
Going crazy. I remember people
saying, I know you got it for a little bit, man.
I got it. I did.
Like, what is he gonna do? What doors is he gonna open for the people in Connecticut?
So do you all know? Do y'all know the backstory of what Meek Mill is actually doing in the partnership?
Prison reform,
The prison reform.
Yeah. So it's Meek Mill, it's Jay-Z, it's another artist as well.
Michael Rubin.
Yeah, Rubin.
Michael Rubin, yes.
Yeah.
And then there was the owner, white guy, who put in some money as well.
Patriots.
I think it's
yes.
Yeah.
And so all of this money is essentially helping to reform the whole judicial system. And Connecticut was not on the map at all. Like they didn't include us. It was New York, Philly, and other places. And I'm like, yo, what's wrong with Connecticut? Right. You know, so my thing was, and it's still happening, and I'm still in conversation with Meek Mill, his camp, Jay-Z, and all of those guys, is, you know, how do we, and the basketball player, what is his name? He's out of California. Matthew Barnes, you know, he's in the weed industry, right? Yeah. So having conversations with him to bring his work over to the East Coast so that there are opportunities as well. So sometimes you got to take a L, supposedly, from the community to get a win. And so for me, it's all about doing that. So I'm like, y'all really upset over that? Like what?
But you know, go ahead, because I'm pretty sure you're gonna word this better than me.
Transition though, so this is a good transition with Matt Barnes. What's your stance on the legalization of weed in terms of Connecticut? Like, where your support stand with that?
Yeah, so we just recently passed recreational use for adult use of cannabis here in the state of Connecticut. I was also a part of voting in favor for decriminalizing cannabis. I think it is important that, and this is the only reason why I supported the legalization of adult use of cannabis, is the same cannabis, okay? You say drug, they give a bad connotation.
Exactly.
The same usage of cannabis that was being sold by Black and brown people that ended them in jail for 20 and 30 years for stupid stuff. Like now y'all want to come talk to me about creating a business,
right? Making multi-million-dollar businesses
to benefit from this. I'm confused. And so if we're going to move forward and you want my support on this legislation, it's got to have an equity piece in it. And what I mean by that is the same people who were placed in jail, you need to free them. And you need to clean or scrub their records, all that good stuff.
Exactly.
Also, the same folks who were placed in jail should have access to being a part of the business. Okay. That's it. And so my support, our final the final draft of it before we voted on it included all of that. Now, there are a lot of other details in it, and we're still working through implementation phase of it. I think it was legalized July 1 of this year, and I think next year the sales will start to kick in. I'm okay with it, but we got to make sure those most impacted by it are at the table. Exactly. And so, and the education piece, right? Because we don't want young kids who really don't understand and misusing cannabis, you know, in a negative way. I just want to make sure there is some education awareness on it.
Of course.
Some type of checks and balance and on the society's end. So we can hold ourselves and other people accountable for it, because it's not just one step. It's something to continually ease and open the door for other things to come with it as well too. Because
Right.
if we can show that we can unite as a people and we can come together as a people, even just on small things like this, then when it comes to the bigger issues, it's kind of like paving the way for that, because there's still a lot of bigger issues to actually tackle on top of that. But because we're not united as a people and as a society and as a community, it's hard for us to actually get progress and actually get results with anything that we do, because you have an idea, but I have an idea, but we can't sit and talk about how we can come together and make our idea work in a compromising way and still benefit both of us.
Yeah, believe it or not, there's still a lot of people who don't support the legalization of marijuana. And that's black, brown, and white. And then you got
I know a few.
Then you got you. Then you have the faith community. You know, it's a lot. But I have a few sort of quick messaging points on it. I talked about the equity piece and the importance of combating the war on drugs that has devastated communities. The other couple points that I left out is that investing in equity, public health, and prevention. It's important for folks to understand that the legislation will direct money to an equity fund, prevention efforts in mental health and addiction services, which is extremely important to me.
Weed ain't for everybody, man.
It's not. It's not.
It's not.
So,
really
and it wasn't for me when I used to do it.
But
so
you can have that conversation.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people come to the table and have that conversation. Even if they did try it, they won't openly admit that they tried it to have that conversation.
But why? I don't understand.
I don't know. It's the stigma and the perception that comes with it. I don't understand.
As somebody who does use cannabis,
can't you do the same thing with alcohol?
Yeah.
And that's what I do too. I'm like, you're the same person I openly drink. You're the same person I probably even do cocaine, things like that as well too. But listen, I went to college with people who did cocaine in their bedrooms, in their dorm rooms, because all they did is they did it on places their sleeves would hide. So like,
oh my God, you went to a white school?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to an HBCU. We ain't doing nothing like that.
We
smoked weed.
Oh, that's what I did. You know, I brought it from home. I had my friends come drop it off and whatnot. It was only right. That's my.
Wow.
Right there.
Let me ask you this: what is the experience at HBCU as versus to a regular college or a white school?
Well, I can't tell you about a predominantly white institution because I didn't go there for my undergrad. I did do it for my master's, but I was an adult by that time. Attending an HBCU is an experience. It is. I mean, I pledged in a fraternity there. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Pledged there. I was part of the NAACP, where I was the state youth and college division president. I was a pallbearer for Ms. Rosa Parks. I did so many things that I would have probably never experienced had I not attended an HBCU. There's a sense of community, but there's also a sense of family within that community. So your professor would be like, come here, let me talk to you real quick, and they give you that whole grandma, auntie type talk, right? Yes. The other thing is witnessing Black excellence at a level that, sure, I've seen it in Hartford, but it was just different.
It's everywhere. Everywhere. It was more.
Yeah, and it was a culture shock for me because I was in Project Concern or Open Choice. I don't know how old you guys are, but I went to school in Canton, right? And it was all white folks and myself, and so and then I went to Prince Tech from 9th grade,
and that's a
12th grade, and
it's
like, oof, right? Yeah. Predominantly Puerto Ricans went to Prince Tech. A lot of Black folks, but a lot of Puerto Ricans. And then I go off to college where there's like all these Black people, and so I was like, "Yo, it's crazy."
All over the United States.
So you got to experience it all.
Florida, yeah. It was a good 4 years, man. It was a good 4 years. I always tell people that's during my time in Alabama is when I became a man. Like It was amazing.
Things that you never thought you would ever see, and it's like, you know what, this is it. This is
Beautiful Black women, beautiful people. It's just absolutely, it's amazing, man. It's amazing. And so since then, I've been able to establish a scholarship in my name there to recruit more students from Connecticut around STEM. I've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of my friends or people I've gone to church with, got them to go to college at Alabama State University. So I'm really serious about it. Yeah. And I got upset with Morehouse since they didn't accept me. So I'm just like, wow.
So it's only yours. It's only Alabama State.
Yeah. Honestly, and with that even being said, I feel like that's how like even our platform would play in part with that as well too, because I'm gonna be honest with you, it's probably like us. A lot of people never knew that about you. A lot of people still probably don't know that about you. So the people who listen to us, they probably fall into that population of people who don't know these facts about you. You can run for mayor and stuff like that, but it's those details that's gonna really humanize you and really just balance out all the controversial stuff with it. So like our platform is.
But I don't understand. Look, I don't understand. Luke Ronan ain't from Harvard, and don't nobody know who.
Ain't from Greenwich or something like that.
That's
no, he wasn't even from. Yeah, he's from Greenwich. Yeah,
he's what's the
So they picked the whole opposite.
That's Lamont's boy. That's Lamont's boy.
No, it was not Lamont's boy. It was Dan Malloy. It was Dan Malloy's boy.
Malloy. That's Malloy's boy. They from the same community in Greenwich.
That's hilarious.
He was using the position as mayor to put himself in a position to run.
Look how we justify this. Look at this. Go ahead, carry on.
What he did was, I'm not even justifying. This is just the role he played.
No, it's true. It's facts. Those are facts.
He played the role. So basically, he's trying to get Malloy's position.
So all the going to like, you know, community basketball games and all this, him eating jerk chicken is all a lie.
He was in my backyard, and when I was in Hartford, he reached my backyard.
He don't even eat jerk chicken like that for real, though.
He don't even know you.
First time even tasting jerk chicken.
They don't even know you.
But no, because I'm sure he'll look at this and be like, look at Brandon. Brandon just talk about me. We love Luke Bronan. He's the best. You know, it is what it is. Politics is politics. You kind of move on right after.
Yeah.
And we're still working with each other to advance the cause. But yeah, man, it's interesting how. And this is aside from the politics in Hartford. If you go on a macro level, it's very interesting how we have to work almost 10 times harder than our counterparts in any sector before we get anything, which equity is important.
We're actually profiting from what we get in terms of anything. We're just making
that's true
and just breaking even. That's what we're doing.
That's true.
So, before you go, I actually have to ask this now. What's your stance on that stadium now that we're so many years in? What's your stance on that stadium?
Which stadium?
The one downtown, the Yard Goats.
Yard Goats?
Yes. Do you feel like that's something that's benefiting the community from a financial standpoint right now?
You know, I was not a supporter early on.
Me neither.
Because, and this is when he was then Councilman Sean Wooden, and now he's the state treasurer. I did not support the idea of giving all these major tax breaks to build a stadium. The original plan before that was to build a grocery store on that same lot.
Really?
But the reason why the grocery store didn't pan out was the original plan. It lacked community input in this sense. That grocery store would only provide a service to those people who live downtown, which means the prices would be so high, those in the community couldn't even benefit from it. And so we kind of squashed that. And then they come along with this stadium, and I just didn't understand. And so for me, I was just like, okay, this is a sign of like gentrification all over again. And this is the start of it, because they're literally by eminent domain, moving stuff around, building stuff. And you can almost see it. You can almost see it before your eyes. And if you look at other places like Atlanta, Georgia, DC area. I mean, Detroit. I mean, I can go on and on. They always start, developers,
in the urban community,
leaders on the city, they start within the urban area or the area where they can benefit financially. And they start with a stadium because they want to bring and attract a different group of people to come in. And so over the years, you know, you're dealt a hand, so now you got to play it. And so it's like, okay, let's talk about your community investment, your community give back. And I got to say, Yard Goat Stadium, they've done a great job trying to figure that out. It still does not address my concern around development, but you know, what do you do? What do you do?
Yeah, it's already there.
We still just got to keep trying to make the best of what we already have.
So my thing is, if you're going to build a stadium for white folks and black folks who come into town and want to go to Yard Goat games, I want you to start city redeveloping areas like Bellevue Square or Mary Shepherd, you know, Sands, etc. Create better opportunities. Let's put a full service grocery store in North Hartford with a pharmacy,
on a bus,
and other and other amenities that come along with a vibrant community. So y'all can have your downtown, do what you need to do. But if we're ever going to make our entire city better, we've got to be intentional about development. And it literally starts with the mayor's office. And he understands it, he gets it, but he's moving a little too slow for me.
I think for the rest of the city too.
When is his term up?
I believe he has 2 more years.
2 more
years. Yeah.
Because I'm curious to see who comes in next. Because we had Eddie Perez.
Yeah, me too.
Perez wasn't that good as when we had him as well either.
Yeah.
Isn't he the culprit of that stadium? Like right before his term ended, he kind of signed off on that.
I don't know if it was Eddie Perez or Pedro Segura.
Because Segura came in after Perez.
But keep in mind, a lot of plans that you see unfolding now are plans that have been in place for decades. And there's a group of people that manage the state and also the city. And right now, there's a lot of money coming through these streets. A lot of money. So you're talking about construction, development. All of these folks are making money. Okay. And we ain't even talking about the amount of funds that are coming in from the federal level around COVID relief dollars, et cetera. And so, my role in this is to make sure my people eat. I ain't fighting you. Just make sure my people eat. That's all I'm asking for.
That's why we want to get behind you on everything that you do as well too, because
I appreciate that.
I like what you do, man. Because you went in one of my friends, her smoothie spot that she just opened on the app.
Yeah, Julie.
I met her.
Yeah, I met her 2 years ago. I invited her to one of my pop-up. Yep. I invited her to a pop-up that I had on Barbour Street. It was a Get Out the Vote pop-up. And I just wanted to engage people, but I also wanted small businesses to have an opportunity to just sell. I met Double or Nothing there.
Okay.
So I bought all their hats. Now you got people buying these stuff. So to see her now, and I worked with her on the application and making sure she get her permit, and she's a fighter. Like, I'm so proud of her.
Yeah, exactly. We said the same thing. We saw. It just made me so happy to see that she did that.
Yeah, and then I brought the governor there, and I'm like, yo, take a picture with her. She's cool. She's cool people.
We love that, man. We love that. That's what the community need. Like, even like with Splash is doing over All City.
Oh man, shout out to Splash,
that's
man.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah,
like,
I wanted to go get me a pair of sneakers. I want to meet some.
Yo, what, man? Listen, I was about to say my son is 10 and a half.
I went there and showed up. I had to show up because stuff like that is amazing. He did it in a place where it's in a sense, the hood.
It's in the hood. It's in the hood.
It's not out of reach for the people who actually need it the most. And people actually
and you know what's special about what he does is he's consistent, and it's not just
7 years
a one-off. 7 years. Just think about it. What happened over there at Rawson, and from there he says, you know what?
I'm gonna do it
I got
right.
y'all. I'm gonna do it right.
Everything from here on. And
Yep.
I've been so proud because he really came back from everything.
Oh, he's evolved. Oh, absolutely.
He came a long way. And so that's why it's like just people like that and people like you, the community need that, because Connecticut has a lot of things to offer. It has a lot of bright talents. It has a lot of bright ideas. And we're tired of like the New Yorkers, even the New Haven areas. We're being silenced by them because they're bigger than us in terms of capital, in terms of population. But we create so much things that go so unheard. So you doing those things and broadcasting is just bringing us more light, and we just want to get behind that as much as possible, honestly, because that's what we're trying to do too. We're trying to showcase other people and let them know like there's other things out here, and we can. It's not always going to be in the form that you're used to. So be open to how it's being presented to
you. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that I'm learning, even in my role as a state legislator, is really, not going along just to get along, but stepping back and allowing for more people that I wouldn't otherwise engage with, be at the table and to talk to and to really just go on that educational journey. Because people are learning from me, I'm learning from them as well. Exactly. And I think that's important. And what I like most about what I'm seeing, at least, and I know when I say our generation might be relative, but I think in our generation, I think we're coming around the corner of supporting each other more than the previous generation. And I think it's important because like the things that you two brothers are doing, I probably can't do it and I'm not gifted in it, right? And there's some other things that I can do that I'm gifted in that we both can kind of play off of. In other words, my mother would say, just play your lane. You know what I mean? Stay in it, work it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so understanding that and not hating people where they are or their progress they're making is something that I ain't about that and haven't been. So that's where I'm at, man.
The same from our culture is puss and dog don't have the same luck.
Yeah. Listen, I've heard that before.
Well, listen, Brandon, thank you.
Yes, we don't want to take a
thank you, man.
You want to do this again because the things that you're saying, I think they're very important. And like I said, I can tell you, we know for a fact that there's people out there who've never heard you say some of these things and know some of these facts about you. So we want to use our platform to get your words and your message out there to those people.
I appreciate that.
It's important because we have a voice, you have a voice, and no matter where we stand with our platform, as we continue to grow, I feel like it helps broaden the people that we reach, no matter what small scale. Because say the next time you're in a position to run like that, we can help bring more voices for you to your platform so you can hear it being heard and things like that. So we definitely want to keep piggybacking off the things that you're doing. We love it. It's great for the community. It's great for the state. And we just want to see
One quick question for you. Quick question for you. So have you all had a conversation about COVID?
We never actually
we do, but
never had a full-blown conversation on it. But
I always have a conversation in a barbershop, and I think that needs to be recorded, honestly.
Okay. I want to do something COVID related because that's another controversial topic. And if you ever notice, we love controversy over
here. Why not? Me too. Yeah. So are y'all vaccinated?
No.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Nah, man. Listen. I'm not the one to do shots and medication. I don't even really take pills like that, right?
I'll say this.
Okay.
No, finish your pill conversation.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna tell you, I don't trust something that's been just developed, and I don't want to put that in my body yet. I don't know. It's just
I take that. What about you?
Honestly, I'm one of those people where I do my part to prevent from other people. So it's kind of with that as well too. And plus, when I came up here from Jamaica, I got subjugated to a lot of shots already. So I still kind of have some PTSD from all the shots that I had growing up and everything. So that's where it really stands with me, just from my past and what I've been through it. I'm kind of just want to stay to the point where I live a holistic life in a sense. But like I said, I do my part on my end to make sure everybody feels safe and comfortable around me with everything else.
Y'all ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so So, and I respect that because there are thousands of people who are saying the same thing. I'm just glad that you didn't just sort of hang your hat on the conspiracy theorists that are out there in theories. The reason I'm so passionate about this, and I too, I do a lot of essential oils. I have diffuser, like the whole nine. Like that's my thing.
Yeah.
Right? I don't fall back on aspirins and all of this, and having been a vegan for better part of 8 years now, there are certain things that I'm just like, nah, I'm good, right? But when I lost my grandmother at the beginning of the pandemic, and there was no vaccine, that hit home, right? Because she wasn't sick. So then fast forward, family members dying, and these are people, this is after the vaccine was made available. And I'm not saying the vaccine is 100% preventable or prevents you from getting COVID, okay? Mm-hmm. What I am saying is, oh, and by the way, I just lost my best friend in July who died as a result of COVID.
Mm-hmm. Sorry for that.
Wasn't vaccinated. I appreciate that. I guess what I'm driving home is you just never know who's vaccinated or not, who's walking around with the disease in their body.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, again, I can hear y'all now, but this vaccine, they're 100% curable, blah, 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 blah.
But that's what
it's not.
That's like with everything.
Yeah, everything
it's not.
Just because FDA approved don't mean it's still a 100%.
And even FDA approved don't mean it's all golden,
don't mean
right?
Nothing. Exactly.
But I do, huh?
My boy put up a post that said, it's the same FDA that approved Taco Bell meat.
Or McDonald's.
Exactly.
But I want to take us back to the Tuskegee Experiment. And a lot of people use the Tuskegee Experiment as sort of not an excuse, because that's kind of hard on people who are making a decision, to not get the vaccine. But they're using that as a reason to not get the vaccine. Let me just clarify something. The Tuskegee Experiment was not about Black men being injected with syphilis, okay? It was not having access to the penicillin that the federal government had on the shelf that could cure the syphilis. So instead, they used our bodies as guinea pigs, when in fact, they could have very easily helped these men to be alive, remain alive, by giving them access to a drug that could essentially cure their bodies. And so having said that, I think it's important that, we keep that in mind, that it's now about access. Y'all gonna laugh, and it was funny when somebody said it, but I think it's true. When you see white folks lining up and running in line to go get vaccinated, they going down there to Parker Memorial, you think you at West Hartford Shopping Center when you seeing them folks, and we're not in there, something needs to be said about that. And this is just my perspective. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That thought is literally in my head every time I talk about the vaccine. It's like, okay, I say all these things, but I'm like, the only reason why I would think about it is because they're giving it to white people in the way they're giving it to them. I'm like, hey man, if they ain't nothing wrong,
what do they know that we don't know?
They know a lot.
That's what I want to know. They know.
Because when the vaccine first started rolling out, and even in Philly, you see lines that go around the block, and you're wondering, what's these lines?
But I would be remiss though. I cannot deny, because I was the same way. Okay, I can't deny our feelings and the true history that our people, we have lived through when you begin talking about public health, right? Public health. There's always been a public health crisis in Black and brown communities. Lack of access, no connection to any insurance because it's too high, you can't afford it. Like I can go on, and there are reasons why we're hesitant. But I just think at this point, if we're ever going to address the pandemic, I think we've got to think more about our children versus us. And so how do we prevent the transmission of it? We do that by getting vaccinated. And I was one of the crazy ones that took the Johnson & Johnson. And so I was like, yo, why you take Johnson?
That's where you messed up.
Can I tell you, thank God, I've not experienced COVID, and I'm out feeding people. I'm out every day, shaking hands, the whole nine. But I'm also, to your point, washing my hands, wearing my mask, and I ain't going overboard,
Yeah,
you know, and I'm still susceptible to getting COVID, by the way. I just won't be as sick if I didn't have the vaccination.
Okay.
Yeah. So we should continue talking. This is good. Because I would love to hear what other people have to say, and it's going to be crazy. But I would love to hear.
Especially people on our age too.
Yeah,
because we're gonna continue this conversation, man. Because we touched on a lot of important points throughout this whole conversation.
Yeah. And honestly, I've never heard a politician speak like you before. So, never in my life.
What does that mean? I know how to code switch. I know how to get in the room and
no, but this is a good thing because people don't like when people see you, they probably just see your image. Like, you know what I mean?
That's the state rep. You know?
Yeah, it's a state rep, and then it's like this. But then when you get personal conversations where we get to talk to you a little bit longer form, we see the human side.
I'm from Barbour Street.
I know.
By way of Stowe Village and then Westbrook. I know, but I lived on Cabot Street.
When you see the tie buttoned all the way up like that,
yeah, you gotta.
But this just my swag. The
chains on us, you know what I'm saying? Like
that's the politics swag right there.
Oh, this I was doing this before. I hate ties, so I just.
I'm a bow tie guy.
But this, oh no, you real fancy.
I gotta go on YouTube every time I tie it, bro. Nah. I'll be honest with you.
But this is dope, man.
Look like money.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. But I love to come back on, man. Y'all.
No, we're gonna set something up and then.
No, I cut you off.
No, that's it. And then we can talk about when we can exchange for your show as well too on the time.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's do that. I'll have my folks reach out to you and we can go ahead and get you on. I think if we want to talk about sort of the industry, the weed industry, maybe talk about your show.
Yeah.
And get you on and let's do it.
Let's do that.
Let's do it. And you gotta invite me to the studio. Don't y'all have like a studio?
Listen, we'd rather you be here.
You to come to the studio.
Okay. All right. Well, we could do. I don't know if y'all do like this is when the old man gonna come out like a raw and uncut session, like after hour session or something like that with the.
This
rap.
Is early for us, to be honest with you.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I know.
Because y'all looking like, bruh, we need to be in here like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Raw and uncut, so we want you to bring your full personality, and then we can really come to the studio. We probably can get a bottle of Douce just to make you comfortable.
Oh, I don't drink that. That's too sweet.
Oh,
you know who? Right, you know who introduced me to that? Meek Mill.
Really?
He bought me a bottle. I ain't know nothing about that. He brought a whole bottle. It was in the waiting room. And matter of fact, I'll inbox y'all the picture. I don't even, I'm like, what is this? You know, everybody laughing. And I'm looking at it like.
Alcohol?
We do Uncle Nearest then.
Either. I mean, whatever. Just not anything sweet. Like I drink it straight.
Yeah, me too.
All right, yeah, because we don't mix it over here.
Okay. All right. Well, y'all keep up the great work, bros.
You too, man. We all support and continue working hard.
Yes, sir. You do the same. Take care.
All right, man. You too.
Thank you.